Hey, Storytime readers, it is Mrs. Lawson, and I am here to share another book with you. This is called After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. It is written and illustrated by Dan Santat, and it is a a Caldecott winner from 2017. It's published by Running Book Press. And we, of course, have all heard the story about Humpty Dumpty. There he is, sure enough. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot high up on the wall. I know, it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day I fell. I'm sort of famous for it. Folks call it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Well, most of me. There were still some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. So there's his bed and all those bird pictures. Does he look like he gets up there much? After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. All the cereals he'd like to get. And he's down here on the row with fiber flakes and bland and grown-up food and leaves, and the one that he's picked up, the borines. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city, but I could never do it because I knew that accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. And then one day, an idea flew by. Oh, and we've already read about what to do with an idea. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches. But day after day, I kept trying and trying until I got it just right. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful looking paper airplane. My plane was perfect and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. What do you think might be the case? He looks very shocked. You're so right. They always do. We can see way to the top of the wall, and there's that little bird heading right up above, maybe over. I almost walked away, but then I thought about all of the time I had spent working on my plane and all of the other things I had missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it, but I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing one step at a time. Until I was no longer afraid. He's at the top. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Oh my goodness, I see some cracks. Hopefully you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. What more do you see? Oh my, all the shells are gone. We'll think of him as the egg who got back up and learned how to fly. And that is our story. I like the end there. Life begins when you get back up. So, wonderful message from Mr. Santat. I hope you enjoyed this 2018 Texas 2x2 book, and hopefully you can find some more great picture books looking at this year's list and then the lists in the past too, 2019, 2018. There's some really good stories out there. Keep reading.